What's up, guys? We are back with another Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats review, taking a look at the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Hook Mountain Ice Frozen Lion-O. So this is a very specific version of Lion-O from a very specific scene in the cartoon where he freezes and turns blue in the snow. But the idea behind this figure is that it has a color change feature. So Super 7's getting pretty crazy with this one. We've got him here in the normal style Ultimates boxes, but since it's an exclusive, it does get that foil embossed treatment. So you've got your Thundercats logo with some snow on it, and then it's got kind of an ice crystal motif with the Thundercats logo on the back, and of course it is a nice frosty blue color because ice. Pop that slipcover off, and of course we've got our Lion-O there in all of his frosty glory, more of that blue foil packaging, and then you've got your Jason Edmiston artwork on the back, and then on the back you've also got a bio for this specific version of Lion-O. It's not just a regular bio, it is the Frozen Lion-O biography. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to check this guy out, see how this thing works, so let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Frozen Hook Mountain Ice Super 7 Ultimates Lion-O. This is, let's be honest, this is a really weird exclusive. It's a very specific instance of Lion-O from a very, very short scene in which he falls into the snow on Hook Mountain. He kind of freezes, he turns a little blue color, and then Snowman saves him and gives him like a flask or something, and he revives. And the whole shtick with this figure is that there is UV reactive paint on him that when you put him in the sun, he will turn more cartoon colors. So he turns that sort of brown-orange color that you see. It's a different shade than the actual normal Lion-O figures, and maybe in some instances a little bit more cartoony and kind of leaning more LJN in some instances too. But it's a really weird exclusive. Like, I would have never guessed that this is what they were going to come up with this year. It's still a really fun figure though, and it's also our new Lion-O. So I'm filming this guy at the same time I'm doing Wave 5's Mirror Lion-O, and they both have that new pinless body, which is new sculpt and pinless. So I'm going to go more in depth in that video probably than in this one, but it's all new stuff here. It's still very much an Ultimates figure, so we're going to run through it real quick in terms of articulation, because frankly, this guy is not about the posing. So we've got a head that can look up, he can look down a little bit, no real tilt, but you've got full rotation, arms out at the shoulders, rotation of course, you've got your bicep swivel, you've got single jointed elbows, and his elbows are decidedly tight. They're tighter than the Mirror Lion-O too, which is kind of weird. You've got your hinges and rotation at the wrist. You got your crunch. You got your waist twist. Legs out, pretty much splits. Legs kick forward about that far. They kick backwards. You've got your thigh twist up there. And then we've got our single jointed, slightly rotating knee. You do have a boot cut down here, and then you've got rocker, and you've got hinges down at those ankles. So despite the fact that he is, you know, new parts in comparison to the Lion-O you may or may not already have, he pretty much moves exactly the same way as just about any normal standard humanoid Ultimates would. Now that said, of course, this guy is a weird repaint, right? He is a very specific instance of Lion-O. So it is the standard figure, but all of his color is skewed towards this blue side of things. So even his armor is not the same as your Wave 1 Lion-O. It's a more periwinkle kind of blue here. There's a little bit of dark shading throughout, and then the piping is a different color as well. His boots are also a different color too. Not to mention the fact that his skin is a different color. So he's a weird looking figure. Like, this is where it's kind of an interesting thing for me when you think about how you're going to use this figure, because probably, unless your room gets a lot of sunlight, he's always going to look like this. It's not something that you're going to be able to just change the color on him in your house. I've yet to find a light in my home that will turn this guy colors. He has to be out in the sun. Even a black light doesn't work for me. Like my blacklight flashlight doesn't. It's not the right kind of UV light, I suppose. So he is very, very specific in terms of what's happening. You know, you get him in the sun, he sort of warms up. It's not a heat thing, but he warms up, and then he will change color. It's pretty cool, and it does work really well. We'll talk about how it works in just a second, because again, it's got to be done outside. But I do think that this is a pretty solid Lion-O. You know, again, having messed with the Mirror Lion-O, I kind of already know what we're dealing with here. We've got updated sculpt and then updated colors for this particular figure. The big thing outside of the color change aspect of him and just, you know, the sciencey weirdness around what's going on, he does have a very specific head sculpt. It's the same head sculpt that we're going to get as our, quote-unquote standard Lion-O going forward, because they have changed up the heads a little bit for the new sculpt. But this guy has closed eyes. Of course, he freezes, he kind of becomes unconscious before he gets woken up by the snowman, so he's got fully closed eyes here. It's your standard head, but he doesn't have eyes painted, so no pupils or anything like that. So it gives the idea that he is, I don't know, having a little sleepy time. So I do really like it. I mean, it's going to be a weird looking figure on a shelf, I think, but then if you, throw him outside and then rush him back to your collection, he'll be a little bit more lively for the time being. But, I guess for now, let's switch over to, I don't know, the trail cam, and we'll see what he looks like when he transforms. So, as you can see, this is a really weird exclusive. He is going to change color as he's in the sun. So anything that you see that was that sort of blue, ice blue, kind of a little bit of green to it color, he's going to change. He's going to turn into a more LJN orange / cartoon accurate colors, which is a very different shade from what you get with your Wave 1 and, of course, the Mirror Lion-O figure. The armor doesn't change color or anything, and then the boots don't change, but it's all about that skin tone. And frankly, it does work really, really well. It is very reminiscent, of course, to the Red Rage Toxie that they did, because this is another instance of that kind of thing being applied. It just happens to be Lion-O this time around, but it does work really well, and it will stay like this for a while. I've not seen it actually dissipate while it's been out in the sun. Once you get it back out of the sun, it will start to fade, and eventually he will return. If you put it back in the darkness, he will just return back to the blue color. I've tried this at least 10 times so far, and it has worked every time. I don't know if there is a lifespan or a shelf life to this kind of thing, because I don't have many toys that do this with this specific type of reactivity. But it does work really well, and up till now I've seen no instances of it stopping. It is a really cool feature, and again, something that completely changes the look, literally, of this figure into something that is a little bit more lively, a little bit more accurate in some ways, but of course this is also a very weird, fun, exclusive version that you don't necessarily need either. It's just got a funny little gimmick. And then as far as some accessories goes, this Lion-O has, I want to say, like the normal spread of things, but it's a little bit less because they're going for a very specific scene. So it's all kind of themed to what's happening here. So to start with, you do get the alt head sculpt. So this would of course be the alternate, the one where he is awake, since the whole point of this is that he's the frozen version. So this is as he wakes up, and this head also will change. So if you throw that in the sun, it's going to do it as well. But it's the new head sculpt going forward. It's the new head sculpt that comes with Mirror Lion-O, with an updated sculpt and then updated paint applications as well. Everything's very clean and crisp, and I'm a big fan of this new head sculpt. It's still very similar to the old one. It just has a few minor tweaks, and the paint is decidedly different. We do get some extra hands as well. So he comes with fists on him in the box, and then we get 2 sets of gripping hands. So we get a lateral and vertical set. So, each side, and then we of course get the very present claw style posing hands. So you get 6 extra hands with this guy, and then we get our claw shields. So we get the one with the sword, and all of the claw shields and swords have a snow deco on them. It's not part of the sculpt, it's just painted on, but it looks convincing enough. So it's like a white overspray. So you've got your one, this is the one that attaches to the peg on the belt. And the peg on this new body is different from the peg on the old. And we've got the short sword, which also has some snow on it. So just a little bit. And these new swords that come from the Mirror Lion-O are more metallic. We get the open shield that, of course, pegs onto the hand. So take the hand off, and there's a peg in there. Snow on this guy. And then we've got the fist, and this is the one that came with Pumra. So fist shield with the peg as well. And then lastly, we get the new Sword of Omens, again with the snow deco on it. And just like the Mirror Lion-O release, this sword is fully metallic instead of that sort of slightly metallic that we had been getting previously. So he does have a decent amount of accessories. It's mostly variations on the same thing, but again, this is all meant to theme around the idea of Lion-O in this very specific instance. So I think for the most part, we got just about everything we truly need. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this. It's one of those exclusives that you don't have to have. Like, this does not fill any hole in your collection whatsoever unless you need them all, or just happen to find this one incredibly fun, which it just happens to be. It's a good Lion-O. I'm a big fan of this new body that they're using. It's going to work really well, especially, you know, when we inevitably get a 2.0 Lion-O, so to speak, down the road. But as far as this idea, I think it sells itself pretty well. It's a fun little thing. You've got your, you know, your frozen ice Lion-O, throw him out in the sun for a little while, and he'll come to life, and you can pose him and play around with him outside while he's in true Thundercat colors. He comes with a solid array of accessories. It's not a ton, because of course it's very specific to this scene, but it's everything you truly need. And I think Super 7 did a good idea of making the exclusive something like this. Again, something that's not integral to the collection, but is also really fun enough that you still want to buy it. So that's going to do it for this look at the Super 7 Ultimates SDCC exclusive Hook Mountain Ice Lion-O. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.